Right, so Jake Abbott was supposed to come this morning because he is due a big trophy. He's hit a very big revenue month, revenue per month with his coaching. However, he's actually moving house this week and he struggled with timing. So Jake was booked in anyway to film. I've got one of the best copy. For those of you that know, I have a marketing agency outside of the mentoring, which we do marketing for lots of big clients, some of which you may know as Watson, Overdrive, Harrods, some other big names. Marcus is our top copywriter. He's coming over this morning. Instead now, I've managed to get him over, and we're going to do a bit of strategy session for some of our clients and also talk about ads and copywriting for your coaching business. Oh, he's here now. He actually get him on camera. This is Marcus. He's got very interesting hair. This is Marcus. Actually, he's had a haircut.
Oh
I was literally just commenting.
This is the neatest I've ever looked.
I was actually just commenting on your hair before we opened the door, so everyone was like,
ready.
It's all literally
quite smart. It's the smartest I've seen in literally
years.
This is Marcus for our agency clients and also do some tips. I think that's a very delayed Wi-Fi.
Someone is at the front door.
He's here.
I'm here. I'm already here.
And we're going to do some, excuse the mess, son was born over the weekend, so I've been here on my own, running to and from wife and baby, so I haven't cleaned up. We're going to talk a little bit about strategy and and some tips and tricks for people that are not only just creating ads but also copywriting for their Instagram posts, because the same rules for copywriting and creating posts for engagement apply for both. So we're probably going to get a coffee now and then we'll jump into that in a minute. So guys, we're actually just talking a little bit about keyword research. It's actually worth talking about actually. So anyone that's running SEO, which is search engine optimization, where they're trying to rank for certain keywords on Google, I won't even talk about other search engines because they're kind of irrelevant. Really, aren't they?
They are.
To be honest,
Yeah,
Google
it's
is
true.
like the market leader in search engines. The only thing that actually probably would be worth ranking on is things like Alexa and, well, you've got Hey Google, which uses Google, but some of the other search engines don't actually rank off of Google, so the voice stuff is actually becoming more and more important because people talk to their devices. I'll save another day, but people that are trying to rank on or create ads for Google AdWords, which is basically you pick a keyword which will then show up an ad, or you're trying to rank your website organically, when I say organically, not paid for it, on the indexes, which basically puts, if you, let's say for example you put in online coach near me, and you're trying to rank number one for that, you're going to really struggle because there'll be a million of those people. And we were just talking there that Mark does some work for a CBD blog. We use a tool that a guy called Neil Patel, who's a very, very, very clever SEO expert, he created a tool. Google have their own, which basically if you put a keyword in, it will give you a kind of metric on how competitive that is compared to other kind of how many people are kind of trying to compete on that word, your likelihood of competing well, and what you kind of need to do on how many people search it, so you have a very good idea of what to optimize for. So obviously if something's very competitive and very hard to optimize for with very few searches, it's probably not a good one to go for. What you're looking for is something that's got high searches with low competition, which is very difficult to find, but you can, out the keywords that you're looking for, because you might have several variations of one keyword, one might be vastly better than another, which you might not have known. So his is called Ubersuggest. Google have their own as well, which you can check, but Ubersuggest gives you a bit more information. It's a bit better for people that are looking at competition metrics and stuff like that.
With Ubersuggest as well, you can actually get like a few free searches, but the paid for is,
how much is it?
Like £30 a month.
I mean, look, if you're serious, I mean, look, I always
say
say this: for one, you put it through your business, it's a tax write-off, and secondly, pay for things like this. Invest. Like, I mean, look, you're more than happy. People will happily spend fucking 30 quid. Can I swear on? I've asked you this before. I can't swear on
You can.
Can't I?
You
That's
can't
all
make
right.
any money out of it. So
That's all right. We're not monetising on bad boys. So, people will happily spend 30 quid on a Domino's or a kebab at the weekend, but then won't invest on a tax expensible service that will greatly improve their chances of competing well on their website.
Yeah, and when you pay for it as well, you can track the keywords that you're trying to list for. Yeah, you can, and it will tell you where you're falling in the listings, where you're being bumped up in the listings, what you can do to improve it. It's a great tool for £30 a month.
Ubersuggest. Neil Patel,
if you're listening,
we want affiliate scheme kickbacks off of that. for all of the 3 people that
You'll be
will
loving it, like a
sign up.
YouTube backlink. It's like another one. It's my 50 billion that I've already got.
Code wise. I don't
Yeah.
have a code really. So, right, with regards to, I'll actually talk to you about it. The ad that we're doing for Overdrive with that one shake you've always had that wasn't watery.
Yeah.
Hannah actually pulled that up and said that it could be misconstrued.
Okay.
Because you've got a picture of a shake, which I understand it could be read as both ways. The first line is obviously about that one shake you always had that wasn't like watery porridge, but then has sick emojis after it.
Yeah.
She thought it was suggesting that it was a horrible shake. And as I said, well, if there's any kind of... She understood when she first read it, she read it as though it was the other way around. It was the shape that we were looking at was the... Because she looked at the emoji before she read the text.
Yeah, it's a very fair
the hook
point.
text, and
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
actually like, okay, maybe we'll change that first sentence then to... I think with every ads that we run, if we show it to a few people and any of them have an immediate
Yeah.
kind of contradictory... It needs to be clicked like night and day what that first hook is about. So, guys, when we're running ads, what we tend to do is we have 2 main things that we focus on primarily, and that is the creative, obviously the video or the image that we're using. We're talking about Facebook ads here. And then the hook, which is your first sentence. Now, we try to firstly create media, obviously videos or pictures that are native to the platform, and what I mean by that is it doesn't look too much like an ad. So some of the stuff we've been putting up recently hasn't been doing quite so well because we've been doing some stuff for Overdrive Nutrition, a supplement company, and we're playing with it at the moment with trying to go a little bit more commercialized with it, and actually finding that as soon as it looks like any form of advertisement, it gets no clicks. So that's the first thing we're looking at. So we're trying around with, we class it a bit more raw footage, where we're having people almost with a selfie style video. We've got some people kind of giving us their reviews with their phone, literally doing a selfie and drinking the shakes and stuff like that, which definitely is better. And then secondly, what we look at is the hook, which is the first line of copy. And when I say copy, I mean text, because that's the first thing you see. You normally stop to look at the image or the ad if it's good enough, and people tend to stop and look at things that look like they've been shot by someone, not a company, which is why we try and stay away from images that aren't native or look too overly produced, because we have what's known as advertising blindness or saturation, where people just switch off when they think they're seeing an advert. Then secondly, you then want to write a decent hook, and I'll let Marcus talk a bit about that because he's the copywriter. What is a good hook, and how can you make a good hook?
Well, one of the first things a good hook needs to do is it needs to be speaking directly to your target audience. So a really simple way is if you're targeting a specific geographical location, for instance, even something as simple as attention. I don't know, so say it's Croydon. Say you're targeting a product in Croydon. Attention.
Let's keep it
Croydon,
because obviously we're doing this mainly for fitness people.
Yeah.
Obviously, let's talk about like PTs that are in Croydon.
Yeah. So if you're running a fitness program and you say you want another, I don't know, let's say 15 men of a certain age range to sign up. Again, same thing applies. It can be as simple as attention men aged 18 to 24. Something as simple as that will just instantly grab your eye if you fall into that demographic. Another thing, I have to really try and think about this now.
Well, so what I know what we always tend to focus on is once you know your target market, you tend to look at their pain points specifically to the service that you're trying to provide, and then also, like Marcus said, if you don't really have a strong pain point to play on, literally just call on the demographics you're targeting. Because with the Facebook ads, you can literally specify males that are interested in bodybuilding or fitness or weight loss in and around Croydon that are aged between 18 and 20.
Yeah. So
you could say, hey, if you're 18 to 20 male in Croydon looking to lose weight, read on. Bang. I know it seems almost weak, but when you actually say that to the person you're trying to talk to, you instantly tend to grab the attention of that person. Or a pain point, for example, have you been sat around in Croydon and found that during lockdown you've gained a few unwanted pounds watching Netflix?
Yeah.
Something along those lines. I mean, we're being very kind of vague here, but the point being is once you understand the root kind of objections or pain points or hopes and dreams that your target market has, and then you can apply something a bit more specific. Because if you're then targeting an audience where you know something about that audience, because you know it's only going to show to a specific type of person, you can actually lay that into the hook. How long is a hook typically? It's like one sentence.
Yeah, no more than about 20 words.
So you've got 20
one
words.
Sentence,
you've got 20 words and an image or a video to stop someone to read on. And I know Marcus has always said, and what we always try and do, is the prime task of a hook, the 20-word sentence, is to get them to read the rest of the text that follows. Nothing more. You're not trying to sell the person with that hook. You're not trying to get them to do anything other than read on, and that's what a hook is for. The image, the sole purpose of the image is to get them to stop scrolling and read the hook. And each component of a copy for an ad or even an organic post doesn't have to be paid for. This can be the same thing to get more engagement on an Instagram feed post, is to get them to go to the next part of what you're trying to tell them.
Yeah, so what with a hook, what it wants to do is essentially open a loop, which is provide a means for which the person would want to click read more. So it can be a question, it can be something that's alluding to, you obviously talk about pain points, it's alluding to the fact that if they click read more, you're going to provide them with the solution, or the fact that you know the solution to that problem. It needs to be intriguing enough to make you click read more.
So intrigue is probably the key word there.
Yeah.
A hook is supposed to be intriguing.
Yeah.
You're not trying to educate in a hook. You're trying
this is the thing. It's like you wouldn't simply ask the question, let's say, have you put on a few extra pounds over lockdown? I know the answer, and then just splurge the answer in the rest of your copy. It needs to be, by the time they've got to the bottom of your ad copy, there needs to then be a reason for them to click through to your landing page, which is ultimately the goal of the ad. So you need to, it's almost fishing. You need to put a little bit of bait out there, slowly reel them in.
That call to action is.
Yeah. So yeah, your hook needs to open a loop into the rest of your ad, and then by the time you've got to the bottom of your ad, there needs to be like a real clear call to action onto your landing page, which you're then going to offer the solution to the problem that you've identified within the ad.
And guys, when I were talking about ads here, but because we're doing ads today, but this doesn't exclusively apply to ads. This applies to any feed post that you put up. The better people that struggle with engagement, which is what Instagram's algorithm is basically promoting and kind of giving people more exposure to. If your posts are getting better engagement, more comments, etc., the bottom of your post could always just be comment below or DM me.
Yeah. And
if you've written a good piece of copy with a great hook and a great image, you will get more people doing those things, which ultimately will lead to more leads. So the same rules that apply to advertising copy, hooks, pattern interrupts, good imagery, intrigue, validation, etc., all apply to your basic feed posts that you put up every single day. So the stuff that we've just told you about now, use it in your everyday posts as well. Create good hooks, think about the images you're using, try to keep them native, try to build intrigue within the first 10 seconds or 5 seconds of someone looking at what you've posted, and then educate and get someone really wanting to then message you or go to your landing page or do whatever it is that post was designed to do in the first place.
Yeah, stories and like trying to tie your point into a story or a narrative is a really good way of doing that as well, because people just intuitively do like stories. Is what people like. Progression pictures, especially obviously relevant to online coaches. People like to see a before and after, and then they want to know, how did A become B? And you can build intrigue and keep someone attentive with things like that. So it doesn't have to be short, it doesn't have to be too long, but as long as what you are writing is interesting, it's not bland, you can keep someone's attention through long form ads and also social posts as well.
Because it's on the white background, I can cut everything out. I know
Yeah, the
you've
trouble
got
is,
graphic way.
if we run anything that looks like it's been overly edited, it instantly looks like an ad, which I want to stay away from completely.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I was thinking with regards to Overdrive, we may try some higher quality stuff, but 90% of it wants to look like a customer review almost.
Yeah.
Like it wants to look, even if it's not a customer review, the way we shoot it as the company needs to almost look like it's a point of view, first person view of basically, maybe you even have like we invest in like a helmet cam or something, where you're literally making a shake in the morning and you're going, look how thick this is, and you're literally pouring it.
Yeah, well, this was
pouring it into a.
Yeah. So my thoughts were obviously like it wants to be as like food porny as possible, because like the thing about Overdrive shakes is that they obviously do taste really good.
They actually do, by the way.
They actually do. For once,
Get a
they
sample.
actually do.
We're not actually live. They taste insane. I have like 3 flavors.
Yeah, let's just run this as an ad. Let's just talking about how nice these shakes are. But yeah, even if you were going to do that, if you made it look as though the person was just making like an actual enjoyable drink as opposed to just whacking it in a shaker and just chugging
What
it
do you think
down.
about us getting, if I buy a helmet cam type thing,
Yeah.
and it's literally like Jake in the kitchen or Hannah in the kitchen,
I think that's such a good idea.
and
Yeah.
like it's literally like you jump out of bed, like, and it quickly gets to you into the kitchen, you're making your shake, and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I think we do one like that, and I also, have you got any?
Right there.
Yeah, right. If you write that down. So guys, this is what we tend to do with strategy sessions. It's people always tend to think like we have a big agency company, and like we sit in these big corporate offices, and you're like sitting there with a board of directors who are signing stuff off. Honestly, when you're creating ads and you're being creative, the best thing I find to do is sit down with a few people and just literally throw ideas out there, and let the conversation take shape, and then, as Jake's now doing behind the camera, literally just make notes as stuff comes out, because you'll forget it by the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes we'll have a lean whiskey. Like it's really like
helps, yeah.
kind of get those creative juices flowing, and you just want to be in a nice relaxed environment where you're not really bound up or stressed, and your phones are off, he says, with 2 phones in front of him, when you're really just focusing on the creative. And as we always say, a lot of the stuff that we throw out and come up with ideas with now will bomb. They will be absolutely crap, and they won't run anywhere. But out of the 50 ideas we do come up with, one will make a lot of money, and that's all we need. And then what we do is we then make more of those.
Yeah, you try
ones
and
that make lots of money, and then we make
it.
a hell of a lot of money for our clients. That's how we do it. So we do the same thing with coaches as well. So we'll sit down with and as we are with 3 or 4 other online coaches at the moment, we sit down, we try and understand their target market, we understand what we try and get in the head of that target market, what they're kind of want out of coaching or what they want out of life. Even if they don't necessarily know what that is yet, we try and find that out for them, and then we provide the advertisement that hopefully will grab their attention and get them to the next part of the funnel where we try and sell to them, whatever it may be. So we'll sit down with our clients, our Facebook clients, our done for you clients. Basically we do all the advertisement for them, we don't mentor them, and then we come up with some ideas. We then ask them to go out and film certain things which we think will work. And like I said, we don't, especially with our new clients, we don't have any data to go off of, so we basically have to run a load of different ideas, throw a load of shit at the wall, basically, see what sticks, and then make more of what's sticking and less of what's not, well, none of what's not. And then after 6-8 weeks, you've bought enough data to be able to start making, hopefully, a very successful campaign, which we can kind of evolve and improve on over time. But what you need to do to start with is not create one ad targeted at one audience and then run a load of money against it and wonder why you made no money, which is where most people go wrong. Or they haven't run enough organic content first. So for example, with my mentoring business, I ran that for a year before I even decided to run any ads, and I've worked with so many people. I was fortunate enough to work with so many people. I fully understood my target market, what they needed, and improved the service, and I can run ads against all of the problems they're now having because I know exactly all the issues that they've gone and run into because I work with them, and I have an organic strategy that made money. So I basically just monetize that. I do the same call to actions, the same pain points, the same services, and advertise to those things because I had the organic side already nailed. But obviously, if you don't have that benefit, you have to spend a bit more money to work up what those things are by split testing and being very quick to action analyze and adjust, the AAA method, which I've coined. But yeah, so with regards to overdrive, I think if we get, I'll buy a helmet cam today. I want to get one of those anyway, because it'll be quite cool.
There's also, do you remember that? I could splice the highlights out of that lady who did that really good raw video.
Was that?
It was the review on Brandon's client.
Was it Brandon's client did the review?
I've uploaded it to Dropbox, the whole thing. It was like 2 minutes.
Do anything you can. If you can make any kind of like...
It was really good. Okay. I could make it shorter. What would be the average best time?
Under 30 seconds.
Under 30 seconds.
And also the first 5 seconds need to be something poppy.
Yeah.
Like whatever it said that needs to be the hook.
Mm-hmm.
So with a video, there always needs to be, in my opinion, something that grabs your attention. Remember that Watson video we did, Jake? And the first thing I said was, we've just lost 50 grand.
Yeah,
or wherever it was.
Yeah.
That video is the highest video views I got, and because I think the hook dragged people in.
Yeah, well, that's the same. It's the same as the copy, isn't it? It's an interesting, like, attention grabbing hook, and it opens a loop into the rest of the video.
It needs to be clickbaity, and also either needs to talk about a problem that someone's having that they potentially might find the solution to in that video, or it just needs to be like, wow, this is interesting. What am I going to see out of this?
Yeah,
one or the other. So with that video, Jake, any of those videos, so if you can get hers together,
it's a PX1.
I think with the shake, let's maybe go with you making one, or at the very least get Hannah making one, you videoing her to start with, like a food porny type one. What do you reckon we should do to really, it needs to go off, like the first 5 to 10 seconds, how can you make it go off? What's our main hook with that? The fact that it tastes great, the fact that it's thick, the fact that it's I think the taste is the main thing.
Yeah, taste.
Quality speaks for itself. The quality's good.
You need to make it look like desirable somehow. So like if it's like a hot day and have some cold.
Or should we run 2 with 2 different? Because I don't know. We're assuming taste is the biggest. Based on experience, I would probably buy a shake based on the taste and consistency. But that's me. And the trouble is, I think because I'm too close to fitness and I have my own opinions on what a protein shake could be like, that doesn't necessarily reflect the rest of people. It probably does, but maybe we should run a couple of different hooks where we do the same video but with a different opening.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Like Hannah coming back from a run.
So we could do one about possibly the quality, and then one about possibly the flavour, and one about possibly the thickness, and see which one pops off.
Yeah.
Because those are 3 main things, really. I mean, what do people want from a protein shake?
Just basically to not taste like buttholes. I think it, like...
Yeah, but also for me as well, as a slightly more advanced kind of... I wouldn't call myself an athlete, but as an advanced fitness guy, for me the quality of the actual shake is very important as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to know where it's come from, the fact that the manufacturing process has been good. I'm not just drinking a load of lactose, which is going to aggravate my stomach, or a load of sweetener and that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Probably the combination of it actually tasting good, not having any added sugar.
But do we run both points in one ad, or do we just go for the one and run multiple? I think that's probably an easy thing to do, because we probably want that ad to be 20 seconds tops.
Yeah.
And basically go for 1 point. That's just my initial gut thought on those. Yeah.
Well, you could include the additional benefits within the actual ad copy itself.
That's your job.
That's my job. As long as the video.
And also, have you looked at the landing page of the whey?
Not for a while.
Can you make a note to have a look at that? Shall I put that on Monday?
Yeah, throw it in there.
Because I think obviously if you're writing more ads for the whey, I know we're focusing on the whey, but the reason I want to focus on the whey is the whey is, if people buy whey, they will come back every month.
Yeah.
Because it's a consistent, and obviously I know it's not a high profit margin, it's not a high margin product, but when they buy their whey, they buy their creatine, they buy their glutamine, they buy their pre-workouts, they buy their other stuff. If we nail the whey, everything else will fall in.
Yeah, if one product's a decent quality, you naturally would assume that.
The whey is what everyone buys each and every month. They might add on bits and bobs here and there, but you know for a fact they're coming back if the whey is good. So I've always said to Dave, the owner of Overdrive, we need to get the whey on the money, which we have done.
Yeah.
The flavour is just exceptional, the quality's bang on. We're going to really be pushing the samples in a bigger way, so we'll run some ads to get. I did a pre-workout sample ad which just blew up. So basically, it's a free sample you pay for shipping, which is £1, and we got like 15 a day on a small ad budget, and also then you have their email address.
Yep.
So those are things we can do with the way, which is great.
Yeah.
We're also going to be an idea to basically all the athletes we have that are coaches, basically get all the addresses of all of their clients and send them all samples, because obviously they're putting it in their plans to have their stuff. If they've been buying My Protein or another brand or bulk powders or whatever, and then they suddenly get, and they'll be like, well look, I've been told to have the overdrive weight, to be honest, to carry on buying my protein because I know the flavour's good, but then they get sent a sample and they go, that's actually really good. They'll switch, but they might need that extra nudge. Anyway, I know it's aside from the ads, but that's what we're going to be doing as well. So I think the landing page, obviously, as I was talking about, needs to be better. I'll put that on Monday.
Yeah,
To basically tie in with the advertisement, because obviously, as we said with the ads, it needs to tell a story. So what a lot of people do, and we were helping a jewellery company recently run some ads, and what we were finding is that sometimes their ads were fantastic, but it would lead to a landing page which just didn't link. It'd be a big disconnect. Either the things you were talking about in the ad just had no mention on the landing page, or there was nothing on the landing page to then continue the story that you were trying to create. And what you have to remember is the landing page, you've got a lot more room for artistic license. You can add images, you can add videos, you can add reviews, you can add whatever you want on a landing page. You can make a landing page 3 miles long. So you can do so much more than you can do in a short ad with a fixed kind of media or
the thing with that as well is it needs to be consistent. Mentioned the jewellery company, and one of the main problems with that was the sort of branding and the brand's personality almost was a little bit all over the place. There was sort of one style in social posts, there's one style in ads, and then there was a completely different style when it got to landing pages, and like you say, it just creates a real disconnect and things don't seem to flow naturally. And that's one of the things that they've really been working on. They found that it works so well, was having a really clearly defined brand personality, as you will, using language that they think that their target audience is going to use, just little things like that you wouldn't ordinarily think about, but when it comes to the consumers consuming your content, it needs to resonate with them at each stage of their customer journey, like as they progress through the funnel. So that's one thing to really think about as well.
It's true. When it comes to coaching as well, people think that that's not really applicable, but it is, because you have to remember people will be hiring you specifically as a coach more for your personality and what you're about and your story than they will do about your coaching. Typically, I mean, unless you're probably prep coaching and you're doing coaching at a high level where you're exclusively prepping like very high competitors, the average lifestyle client or even slightly more advanced clients will be hiring people. Yes, the knowledge is a prerequisite, but let's assume you're a good coach and you can get someone into shape or gain muscle, whatever their goal is. The primary reason for them hiring you, amongst the other hundreds of thousands of coaches that are promoting themselves on Instagram as well, which they know about, by the way, is you and your story and what you're about. So if your story, as Marcus was saying, is diluted and people don't really know what you're about, what your thoughts are, where you stand with even stuff that's not necessarily fitness related. It might be your political stance, it might be your stance on family, it might be your stance on global warming, I don't fucking know, but that's actually relevant. Because they're investing in you. So I always say to people, yes, it's really good to validate yourself as a coach, but it's also very important to create your story, your brand, and these things are encompassed in your brand because you're basically creating a t-shirt that when people hire you, they're effectively wearing. And the stronger your story and the more concise, the more people will either want to be with you or won't want to be with you. And the thing is, we don't care about the people. We actually want to actively put away people that don't really like who you are, because ultimately they won't be on for a long period of time. The ones that love what you're about and who you are and that you kind of your story and your brand will stay with you for a long period of time, and they will actively promote you, tag you in stuff, be proud of working with you because they feel like they can associate themselves with you, which is super important. So as a coach, not just selling a product, it's still really important to tell a story and stick to that story as strongly as possible and create a story that actually I would say really does resonate with you personally, not the coach that you want to be like or the other coach that seems to be doing well. Be authentic and be you, and create your copy, create your language around you. Strip it all back, and in my opinion it's easier to be you than trying to pretend to be someone else, and that will go a much longer way. Even if you think that people won't necessarily resonate with that, you'd be surprised how many people do. And the amount of people that I've worked with that I've even looked at their content and gone, wow, they're never going anywhere. And now they're doing, I know for a fact that some of these guys that, I'm not going to name any names, that I looked at a long time ago and thought they're going nowhere, are earning in excess of 50 grand a month from coaching. And I'm like, well, hats off to you, because they ground it out year after year after year. And although it's not my cup of tea, it's apparently a lot of other people's cup of tea. So who am I to judge?
Yeah.
Let other people be the judge of that, and also stick to your guns and be authentic. Create your story.
Rich Piana, great example of that.
Great example.
Just
of that.
half the world loved him, half the world absolutely hated him.
So I say Marmite.
Yeah.
Be Marmite. But make sure that you're being Marmite in a consistent way that's telling a story that you stick to. I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You keep your terminology the same, you keep your principles the same, everything is in line with that story. You don't chop and change and try and be someone else tomorrow and someone else yesterday and dilute it and be very confusing to people.
Yeah.
Be a voice and a light of a certain group of people that can identify and want to be involved with you and what you're doing, which is super important.
Consistency is key, and it's like you say, as long as you are being authentic to yourself, that consistency is going to come much more naturally.
It should just be easy.
Yeah, it should
There's
just
no
be.
thought
It's
behind
the simplest thing in the world. Is
That's
just
what I
to
do.
be yourself.
I'm constantly an arsehole.
Everyone knows what they're getting.
And it's easy for me to be an arsehole every day. People know what they're getting, so it's no hardship for me. It gets me no YouTube views. That's why I've got no one that watches my channel. But yeah, point being, it's jokes aside. So back to Overdrive, we're getting a bit distracted here, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're trying to give value as well at the same time, so a little bit more of a value-based strategy session. Christ, I'm still trying to upload this story. We've got the show jumping. I live in a place called Hixton. There's the biggest show jumping event of the year is literally over there, and there's about 3 million horsey people that are obviously sitting in a field, sitting on the Wi-Fi or the 4G, which means I now have none, so I can't do work. But
yeah, and your Wi-Fi is 4G too.
my Wi-Fi is 4G too because I live in the sticks, so I have to use a 4G box, which then gets crippled because everything's on 4G. So I've been trying to upload this story for 9 hours. About an hour actually. It was actually an hour ago.
It was.
Yeah, it was an hour ago. It's still uploading. Good. So Jake, we could do some do 3 different variants of an ad, where you're talking about 1, the quality of the whey, 1 about the flavour of the whey, and 2.
One and 3.
It's been a long night.
Quality flavour.
Third one being possibly the thickness, the consistency.
Yeah.
Have you got any other branded shakes at yours?
Yeah, I do actually.
Can you do a non-branded comparison?
Yeah, I've got a couple really shit ones.
Don't name names, but I think a great one would be I remember talking to you about the Bounty advert before.
Yeah.
You know, where they had they put a spill on the table and they went a conventional. Right. With regards to Overdrive, then Jake, what we're thinking is obviously we're going to scrap. I'll put my glasses back on. I'm not squinting for the camera. Scrap anything that's commercial, because basically we've looked at every other supplement company out there, and bar possibly, I won't actually say they are. There's one other company that's half decent at making ads, and even then it's lackluster at best. So we feel that we've got quite an opportunity in terms of using our marketing experience to take Overdrive up a level. So with that in mind, I want to get fully away from anything that looks too commercial, because I think people just don't respond to it. Anything we've tested that's remotely commercial does bugger all.
Just dies.
And that's the same to pretty much any industry that we work with at the moment. Watson's a bit different because, as we said, their stuff is it still works with regards to remarketing, but gym owners and stuff a bit more when you're focusing on a commercial audience rather than B2B rather than B2C, business to business rather than business to consumer, business to customer, however you want to call it. B2B tend to want to be a little bit more formal with their advertisement, and they tend to respond slightly better. With B2C, pretty much always responds, business to consumer, always tends to respond better to more raw, less advertisement looking advert. So that being said, we were thinking a couple of ideas. Obviously, do the ones where Mark was saying, you know, we had the bounty one before. We have like a spill on the table, and then you have like a brand that's crap, and then bounty would then soak it all up. We were thinking, with regards to showing the thickness, you get one of the non-overdrive ones and one of the overdrive ones. You get 2 clear glasses. You mix them both up. You pour the shake in there, and then you get a strawberry or something that's heavy, and hopefully, obviously, the overdrive one will stick on the top. The other one will just sink to the bottom because it's just watery mess. And you go, that's overdrive. That's a big brand. That's the difference in thickness. Something short and sweet. So you say the opening line would be like, I think get Hannah to do it.
Okay.
Are you sick of like watery rubbish shakes that taste like butthole or something like that?
Something along
those lines.
Maybe not the word butthole.
We've done a quick test. This is a massive brand that you probably would have used. This is overdrive. Bang it into a glass. This wants to be 20 seconds, 25 seconds tops. So if you're sick of having crap shakes, basically, click the link. Bang. Another one we were thinking of doing was we get your nan involved. Right? You walk into the kitchen, your nan's just there sipping on shake. You're like, Nan, what are you doing? You'd be like, oh, found this shake in the fridge, it's really nice. Like, you do realise that's a protein shake. Oh, really? Like something funny like that, where it's like
really short little clip. Like
she thought it was like, it was like just a really nice. She thought, I thought this was Nesquik or something like that. Because we've been told actually the overdrive shake tastes a bit like Nesquik. So basically, she'd mistaken overdrive for a really nice, not sugary shake. What else do we reckon we do? You could always like call your nan into the room. You'd be like, Nan, what do you reckon of this? And then give her like another branded one. She'd be like, oh, that's not really nice. What do you reckon of this?
That's good.
Something like that. We'll try a couple. But I think the nan thing will be funny because no one kind of expects that.
It's just it
just brings the comedy value in. And makes a point at the same time.
I think it's definitely worth
taste test.
Taste test.
Nan, a taste
test.
test.
Like a blind taste test with your nan. Or your granddad.
I'll have
your granddad's quite funny as well, but I think your nan's funny too.
Nana's good.
Nan's fun.
And then I'll put like she won't know which one's which.
But I think so. What other ideas do you reckon we should do? Because that's the way. Do you reckon we do any for the pre?
Give Jake's nan pre-workout?
No, it's not give Jake's nan pre-workout.
Maybe
pump
not.
product. Go get a pump.
Because the ways, I think that'll be enough to get the whey going at the very least. And then obviously pre-workout, we've got the main things with that is obviously Snow Crash. I think again the flavours are just really good. But with the pre-workout, what we have got is probably the most impressive ingredients panel for anywhere near the price range. The L-citrulline that's in there is, I know the buy price of the ingredients.
It's crazy.
And it's a very low margin product. The amount they've put into that product is just obscene. That's why if the people, I don't know if we do like an ingredient panel comparison. We could do. I know we're targeting other brands, but we have made sure that I said to Dave, because I've helped him since day one, I said the products need to be unquestionably good quality. Bar none. Like relative to anything else in the market, that has to be the prerequisite. Then everything else, the flavour, the price, everything else follows on from that. But number one, your product for the price can't be beaten, which we've done. So how do we get that across, and what are the main things? I mean, we could do a bit of a poll. What's the main thing people look for in a pre-workout? We could get some polls asked, couldn't we? We could ask all the athletes, because before, and then we can use those as the pain points, because I don't really know. Like for me personally, I just want to get pumped, and I don't want to feel sick when I drink the drink. But everyone's got different opinions. Some people just want to be stimmed off their tits.
That's me.
That's what I'm saying. So like, Jake, what do you look for in a pre?
BX1 Plus is perfect. Not overly stimmed, and it's got nootropics, focus, and some
But
pump.
how do you
It's
make
got
that
overall.
How do we make that compelling in an ad?
That's the thing. That unless you compare
Because it doesn't. The trouble is because we've gone
panel,
because PX1 Plus. The idea was not to be completely blow your head off because we're going to do a stim one that does that.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be like gives you
It's
the
perfect,
perfect
right,
balance of pump,
Yeah.
stim. Okay, there we go. I probably just done with the ad. The perfect balance of
Yeah.
pump, stim, focus,
Yeah.
without all the negative crash side effects. For those of you that don't want to be
Yeah.
wired, and it tastes great, doesn't make you feel sick, and we've got an array of flavours.
Yeah.
it's low stim, but you still feel stimmed with the big aluminium
It's
stuff.
still relatively high stim
Yeah.
for the average person. So there's enough stim in there to make you feel stimmed, but
It's
not
not
to the
pump.
point at which you're shaking in the gym,
Yeah.
which I know you like.
Well, Hannah had Total War the other day, and I'm calling it out. She's never had another pre-workout, and she was fucked.
Yeah,
One scoop.
yeah, it's not. So
She
I mean, look,
walked into things.
that's not for me to say that that's not what people want, but what we need to do is sell PX1.
Yeah.
So, and identify the kind of people that want that. And to be honest, we made PX1 Plus around the kind of people in the company at the time that like those things. So for me, it's like having the feeling of having energy, having a great pump, really enjoying the flavour of the drink, but not feeling like cack afterwards.
Yeah.
And
It's
also
a
they're
very subjective thing, pre-workout.
Exactly. So what I'm doing, I think we need to do is hit the people that we say, look, this is what it does. This is who it's for.
Yeah.
If you don't like these things, find another one, or
Yeah.
like use our non-stim one, which we now have,
Yeah.
or use our stim one, which is coming, which is going to blow your absolute head off.
It'd be good to do like a sample pack once that is out of like all three. You can send that to people.
Yeah, you could do almost like a Nando's rating.
Yeah.
You know, like a heat rating. You know, it's like 1, 0 to mild, 2, get in there, 3.
Yeah.
You're going to be in bed afterwards, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. I think that would work though, because like it's like with anything. It's like with shakes, pre-workouts. A lot of people tend to just find one brand that is pretty much ticking all their boxes, and then are quite hesitant to move away from it. So I think samples work well.
yeah, we got all the samples.
Yeah.
We got all the samples being done in massive bulk. So
Yeah.
Because once people technically, because Overdrive is that good.
what do we do? I'd like to get one ad up for the pre at the very least, the PX1 Plus.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about that?
Yeah.
Let's work on the weight first and have a think about that. And get that
Yeah,
going.
so it is quite a lot of different things. Obviously, because the panel is a comparison panel would be really cool, but I don't really know how we'd go about that. Like the average pre, like a C4,
Yeah, even Total War, it just poops all over it. To be honest.
it does, and that you can't really see that unless you look at the panel.
And also anything that's even close, like my protein, you've got like black something or other. Remember, it's got 6 grams of each in. But you look at the rest of the panel, it's more expensive, and it doesn't even the rest of it doesn't even match up.
Yeah.
No,
But people, do you go down the educational route?
It's hard to run that as like an
isn't it?
attention grabbing ad.
Yeah.
Like that would make for like a decent blog post.
Yeah, but it's not really
no.
like a.
But it's not. Yeah.
so obviously that's a really simple way to see the comparison, but it's a longer way, longer form.
Or
Unless you pick like a key ingredient that you want to
like
focus
L6 but
on.
then a lot of pre's like that.
Or with the pre, do we just go down the sample route? Like 'cause before we ran the samples, but to be honest, we did this is my fault. We did a not particularly great job of follow up.
Yeah.
So we sent a lot of pre's out. We did get a fair few repeat orders, but I didn't do a very good job of then following up with emails and stuff like that after to try and get people to then purchase the full tub. We didn't like offer a discount or anything like that, do anything like that. So maybe we go down the route of making a bit of a funnel.
Yeah.
Because all I do know is we did sell a lot of samples. I mean, I must have done 300-400 samples through the ad.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on the Overdrive account, aren't you? You'll be able to see that ad. And
Yeah.
the purchases we had, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. It
It
might
was
be worth
one
running a
image
similar-
ad of like, basically, if you put free anything on anything,
Yeah. If you
it
want to sell
tends to
stuff,
work.
give it away for free.
Basically, but we didn't have the best follow up. So if we do that again, I think as we're talking about it, I'm realising that because pre-workouts are so subjective, with whey we know that a whey is the same. Like an 80% whey protein is an 80% whey protein. The only thing that really varies is the flavour and the texture. Let's say the actual quality is what they say it is. That's it. It's the same goal. It's the same everything. People know what it is. With a pre, it's effectively every single pre is effectively a different product.
Yeah.
With a different outcome, and people with different goals will use a different pre at a different time.
Yeah.
I think.
So I think the samples might be more important to get
100%, I think the
people,
samples
and then
would
we
be good.
run that as a funnel, but we have a very aggressive follow-up
Yeah.
method with, and then we really analyse
Do like a proper email drip.
but we work out what's actually at the conversion rate on that, so we can work out the kind of cost per acquisition, the cost per purchase from the cost of the sample, the cost
Yeah.
of the ad click, and then the cost possibly of the discount and the margin we then make on the pre at the end of it. But then we also then have to look at the lifetime value,
That's it.
because if that person then comes back, that you get fall back on that
Yeah.
product next time.
Yeah.
So
Then-
what we need to do is then do a proper analytical follow-up of that
Yeah.
particular ad with that particular product, and see how many people then come back month after month.
Yeah.
Because then what we'll do as well is we'll then drop a whey protein sample in with their order, and
Yeah.
then we try and upsell,
Exactly.
cross-sell.
Same with the
etc.
protein. If you're sending out
Yeah,
pre-samples.
I've had companies do that before. You order the whey,
Yeah.
they send the pre. If you order the pre,
Yeah.
they send the whey.
Yeah,
It's a good idea.
We need a way of
track.
we need a way of tracking that though properly. So I might have a chat with Alex where we may use a code, even if we lose a bit of money, for the ability to then track how many people bought a product and then bought another product from the sample
Sample
off the
it.
back of it to see how effective that then is.
Yeah.
Because it's all money. The samples cost money. So if we're not watching that metric enough, and also if we're not realising how powerful that is, we're missing a massive trick on the whole advertisement.
Yeah.
So we need to make a proper follow-up. So I need to make a note of this.